Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady. I have with me today JC, my co-host.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, and of course, Penny Cedar, the fabulous CEO of Habitat for Humanity in Central Florida. Hi, Penny. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I want to just wrap up this session by sharing with our listeners today just some tips and tricks because hopefully by now their mind's going, oh my goodness, I need to get my employees involved in something. This is a cool benefit. What advice can you give them? You've already given them some advice about, first of all, not making it an executive pet project, right? Because if all the employees aren't involved or engaged in it, then they may feel disgruntled, right? To saying, oh, I got to do this. And even though they're not forcing me, I feel I have to, and it's not something I believe in.
Right. Yeah, I do think, taking a poll, getting feedback, asking for suggestions and those kind of things from the employees is very important, and could really be beneficial. And I think it also has employees feel like they're heard, and what they have to say matters, and what matters to them matters to their upper management. So there's a lot of good benefits from taking those polls and getting that feedback.
Right. And I think we should even go a step further. You take the poll, you do the survey, you have maybe town halls, whatever it is, and have more than one opportunity to volunteer, right? Because you're not going to get it. I mean, come on, I'm the HR lady. You're never going to get everybody on board with the same passion. Having more than one opportunity where people can give their either their time, materials. What are those quotes, Penny? What are those keywords?
Time, talent, or treasure.
There you go.
Yeah, their time, or maybe they're talented like you are with HR, and you've definitely helped my Habitat affiliate with HR, all kinds of HR questions, and been able to give us your expertise, which has been really, really helpful to me, and very helpful to my team, and helped us save money. So that's an example of giving your talent. And a lot of nonprofits need people like you and other skills. But treasure is your money. When I was talking about giving on a monthly basis, being part of a sustainer program, or just making a one-time contribution, that's your treasure. So, time on the job site, talent, treasure, all needed by all nonprofits.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny. In the past, I would rather go and physically be on boards and all of that. And I have, and then I just kind of took a life detour. And now I'm like, I'm not going to be on your board, which again is a lot of talent and time, but call me for advice and I'll give it to you. No problem. Or if you need money, give me, I'll give you some money, but I'm really good at giving advice, but I'm going to do it from afar and not show up at your meeting.
And there's tremendous value in that. When you're an expert like you are, in human resources, that is a huge need for us. And it saves us money. It saves us a lot of heartache. Could save us legal fees and all those kind of things, and that matters. And so I know just speaking to you has been really a tremendous help. So, but you could be a lawyer and review contracts. You could be a CPA and help with an audit. There are a lot of things that people can offer and sometimes do. But yes, talent is important. And, that kind of value is much better than warming up a seat and sitting through a long meeting. Might be just a better way to give back.
Penny, they say employee volunteer programs are also great for companies all the way around. And research specifically from the Points of Light Foundation found that 60% of businesses with employee volunteer programs believe that they do enhance the company's climate in general. And one of the key points within their survey that I found interesting, I wanted to save this till our last segment of this podcast to bring it up, was partnership opportunities. And when we think about partnership opportunities between corporate entities and not-for-profit entities, are there things from your perspective that should be considered before entering into some sort of partnership with a not-for-profit organization?
I think looking at their, are they solvent? Are they going to be around year after year? Very important. By looking at financials, all those things are public information, are public knowledge and can be found like on Charity Navigator or whatever. But I think making sure that they're solvent and making sure that there's good leadership. Again, customer service. We talked about that a little bit before, providing a good experience. But those are things that can happen as a result of, that background check, that kind of doing your due diligence before you make a suggestion for a nonprofit would be good. I will tell you that we do have corporate partnerships, and I see the same people coming back year after year after year. Yes. Yeah. And I can feel it in their companies that there is a kinship that happens as a result of not only the partnership that we have with that company, but what they are doing for their community as a group.
Previously, you made mention, too, about having those good conversations with your staff at the not-for-profit and recognition overall. Folks, corporate volunteer initiatives frequently mirror the interests of senior management. It's not a hidden feat there. And however, what matters most to bosses isn't always important to workers. So even though volunteering is extremely fulfilling, don't forget to honor your staff's dedication by thanking and awarding everyone who took part. The most effective approach to accomplish this could be maybe to host a post-project party where your team can unwind together. Maybe take a well-deserved vacation. Maybe not necessarily together either, right? That could get weird. That could get strange. Unless it's me coming down to Orlando, which, Penny, I would definitely do that. Okay, but you could also...
We'll get you to Disney.
There it is. Or maybe help you build a house or something. I don't know. I'm there for you. But you could also enhance the party with a brief awards ceremony, and it's a great way to recognize key employees' efforts and add some lighthearted fun. So when we think about recognition of the volunteers or recognition of the employees within not-for-profits, what are some ways that stand out to you or some cool things that you've seen over time in regards to recognition for volunteering?
Well, we certainly have our own recognition of volunteers for a certain amount of hours and different companies that come back, after a certain amount of time. So Habitat will also recognize and thank volunteer groups. But, within the company, what I see is, getting things like lunch catered in for the project, T-shirts, company T-shirts, silly things posted on social media, recognizing people and maybe something that they did that was fun or silly or something like that. Those are the things that I see. Every once in a while, I will get invited to, like, we partner with our local hospital. They'll bring me into a staff meeting and they'll have me recognize a particular group or a person who's done a lot for us. And I always love doing that. So, every company is a little different.
I could just see it right now. A beautiful partnership yet to bloom. Here we've got the Orlando Magic showing up to a charity event. You're building some houses. You're doing your things. Maybe Cole Anthony stops by. Jalen Suggs signs some stuff, takes pictures with people in the community. And amongst it all is Penny right there with her arms around everyone, just welcoming everyone in. I'm telling you, it would be magic. Oh, my gosh, pun intended. Orlando Magic.
Yeah, there you
Orlando
go.
Magic happening right there.
Yeah, we got Orlando Magic. We got Disney Magic. We got everything
We've
down
got
here in
Penny
Florida.
Magic. Penny's Magic.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about briefly before we end this podcast, I know Penny's at a conference and has got to get back to, making it rain over there and figuring out the time, treasure, and talent. But one of the biggest things that I want to say to our listeners is talking about stress and burnout in the workplace. And I don't want you to force a volunteer program to add to that stress, which is why I think it's very, very important that if you are creating a volunteer program, that you are, taking it as a day off, preferably a paid day off, versus adding something else to their plate, making sure that you are 100% asking employees, what do you want to get involved in, and then making it happen. So you're not only offering one opportunity for volunteerism. But there's a recent MetLife study, and it's going to be no shocker to anybody who's listening, but that 72% of employers say stress and burnout are a huge challenge and concern for their organization. The interesting thing is the study goes on to talk about the whole employee experience, and that there's 5 areas that you can work on as an employer to strengthen the whole employee experience. And it talks about purposeful work. How awesome would it be if your work, being an accountant, an IT person, a widget maker, actually is so purposeful that it lends, your time, treasure, or talent to helping a neighbor get a home, get out of a situation that they otherwise couldn't be. So if you do that, that's huge. And it's really, honestly, I know it's money because paid time off is money, but paid volunteering time is too. But they are going to, if they have purposeful work in work and then related to work, 2 times more likely to stay, which again, I can't stress this enough, is going to save you on recruiting costs and possible lawsuits too. They're also going to be 1.8 times more likely to stay if there's flexibility and work-life balance. So this is also important when you're picking a volunteer program, is to see how you can get the families involved and making sure you're not forcing them to only volunteer on a Saturday when they have their children or they have family obligations. Employees want social and supportive cultures. How more social and supportive can you be than helping your community and throwing a hammer alongside your coworkers and talking about how to fix a pipe or put a wall up? They're going to be 1.5 times more likely to stay if you didn't have that. And then, of course, career development and training, any kind of career development training, they're going to be more likely to stay at 1.7 times. Habitat, or any organization, actually is development and training, because Penny, as you've mentioned, you see communication skills improve and interaction relationships improve.
Sure. And connections. And that's important for longevity. Yeah.
It really is. And it's important to say, I know from my experience, I like I mentioned, when I first started out in HR a long time ago, we won't say when, the company that I worked for, we had employees that we've acquired from all over the United States into a couple communities across the U.S. And we usually yanked them out of college and relocated them, so they didn't have families or friends there. And people used to say to me, why do you do so much for your employees? Why do you have happy hours and volunteer events? And I'm like, because their spouses or their boyfriend or girlfriend now love us. And when they go home to complain, they send them right back to us the next day. And when their spouses, their family members, their friends got involved with us because we allowed that, they'd be the ones to be like, no, go talk to Wendy, go talk to your boss, because we were just building a house with them and we know they care. And so, folks, all of this is so, so, so important to be aware that your employees are a whole person and it's not just about work. But if you make it more than just about work, it can really benefit you as well. With that said, any final words from JC or Penny?
Oh, I definitely have a couple, and I'll share this real brief with everyone here. I think everyone on the call is going to find it interesting, but I really do think Penny might already know this one. Did you know Habitat for Humanity likes a challenge? The record for building a new habitat house in the least amount of time was established in Alabama's Shelby County. It took Habitat 3 hours, 26 minutes, and 34 seconds, breaking the previous record of 3 hours, 44 minutes, and 59 seconds to build an entire home. How cool is that?
That is cool. Very cool.
Totally cool. That's impressive. That is impressive.
Hey, they've got a following of 2 million people combined on social media, and we're lucky to have one of their CEOs here today. It's been my pleasure talking to you. That's all I have for today. Penny, thank you, and Wendy, thanks for having me. I'll turn it over to Penny for her final thoughts.
Yeah, Penny, and how can people reach you to learn more about Habitat, even if it's outside of Florida?
So people can, again, reach me through the habitat.org website and then find the Seminole County and Greater Apopka affiliate, or just go directly to our website, which is Habitat Seminole Apopka, like Seminole Indians, SeminoleApopka.org, and find local opportunities for sure. Habitat for Humanity loves volunteers, and they are the lifeblood of what we do. And I would say that is true in every community, and certainly true where I am. And it's very, very important to me as a leader that we provide a outstanding volunteer experience, and people walk away feeling appreciated and also understanding there's a whole lot more of work to be done, and they want to come back and do it with us again, for sure. And whether it's here in Central Florida or it's across the nation or across the globe, Habitat loves our volunteers.
I know you do, because I've been one of them. So
Yep.
Thank you so much for your time today, everybody. Wendy Sellers, the HR Lady. You know how to contact me, thehrlady.com, or find me on LinkedIn. Take care.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.